Flix with the Hicks, where we tell you about the movies. We tell you if they're great or if they really stink. Now it's time to start the show. Yeah, now it's time to go. Guess what? It's Flix with the Hicks.
Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours, and we'd like to welcome you to another episode of Flix with the Hicks, where we review 2 movies each week that we watched on DVD that week. We always review the worst movie that we've seen and the best movie that we saw each week. And this week, Janet got tasked with picking the worst movie of the week. Would you like to reveal your film, Jan?
Actually, yeah. It's a Steve Martin movie, okay? Which, you know, he does silly stuff 90% of the time. It's called Bringing Down the House. Now, it's got Queen Latifa in it. It's got Angus Jones when he's a little boy, which was on 2.5 Men, that kid. In which he was really good in it, but the movie was awful, I thought. Okay, it's all right. Steve Martin's an attorney, right? He's going through a divorce with his wife Kate, and they've got 2 kids. And Jean Smart plays Kate, the wife. Queen Latifah is named Charlene. Okay. He's a workaholic lawyer, okay? And he doesn't have a great relationship with his kids. He wants to get out there and start dating. He goes online, the new online dating stuff, right? And the girl shows up at his front door, okay? Which, you guys, you know, online dating, you don't meet at each other's houses. That's stupid, you know? And the pictures that were online of Charlene, which is Queen Latifah, was actually her in handcuffs being arrested. And the person in the foreground was this nice looking businesswoman, you know. But that's who he assumed was going to be at the door. Well, it was Charlene. And she needed an attorney anyway to help her prove that she's innocent, right? Well, she kind of overtakes the house. She has influences on the kids. Georgie, the little boy, Jones, you know, didn't read well. She was giving him adult magazines. I mean, stuff that just does not happen, okay? And big old parties at his house, and it was a mess. The whole story was a mess, and I thought it was terrible. And it was made in 2003. They only spent $33 million on it, and it still made money, $165 million, yeah. But you know, it's just not realistic at all. Very racist type comments and jokes, and I mean severe. I mean, it was obnoxious sometimes. I mean, some of it was funny, sure, but a lot of it was really obnoxious and not appropriate. And it says PG-13. I would say more of an R rating on this, even though there are kids in the movie. I just did not like it. What did you think of it?
I saw this film years ago, not long after it came out. And at that time, I thought, I didn't see what the big deal was, because it was a pretty big movie when it came out. And I thought, why is this such a popular movie? Must have been because Steve Martin was in it.
Queen Latifah was hot back then. I mean, she got really popular.
But even back then, I didn't see what the big deal was. Now, when we watched it this time, it wasn't funny. To me, I just didn't think it was very funny. Maybe the jokes were funny back in the day when the film came out. I don't know, but I just didn't laugh through it. I watched the film, and when it was over with, I wasn't fulfilled as far as seeing a movie. I was ready to watch something else.
Right.
So, no, I didn't think it was a very good movie.
Yeah. Steve Martin's movies are, there's not very many that I liked. I mean, I think he was a funny comedian, but in the movies, for me, he just doesn't work for me. But anyway, rating 1 to 100. I'll give this 35, maybe. I mean, no, I'll give it 25. I didn't like how it's so racial motivated. I mean, saying, he expected a white lady and a black lady showed up, and his partner that's really obnoxious, oversexed. Oh my gosh, it was stupid. I mean, bad, and that shouldn't have been part of a movie.
Well, I would give the film maybe a 27.
See, you're right there with me.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good film. It really wasn't.
I mean, anything with Steve Martin in it usually does well, and Queen Latifa, there's some roles that I think she's just awesome in, but this was, I mean, she was boisterous. She played the role that she was given really well, but it was stupid. I mean, people are not like that. But, all right, so tell me about your movie.
All right. My movie is an American classic.
It's classic.
Back to the Future. I call this a classic, and the reason that I do, if you're over the age of 12 and you have not seen Back to the Future on TV or on DVD or VHS or whatever, you're living in a hole. Because it's
over the age of 12?
Over the age, I would say if you are over the age of 12 and you haven't seen it. The reason being, it's on everywhere.
It is.
She just looked on the TV schedule on DirecTV.
It's on like 4 times this week.
Yeah. Now, I had not seen this film in probably 10 years when we watched it again. And I had forgotten just how good it was.
It was.
The film stars Michael J. Fox, Leah Thompson, Christopher Lloyd, and Crispen Glover. At the time that the film was made, Michael J. Fox had his TV series running, Family Ties, and so he wasn't a superstar, but he was a little bit of a household name at that time. But this film made him a superstar.
It sure did.
This film was made for $19 million. It grossed $388 million.
Whoa! And still making money.
And I mean, this film ran in the theaters for probably a year. I mean, it
is good.
And it was sold out. I think I saw it 3 times when it came out at the theaters, and it was sold out all 3 times that I went. Michael J. Fox plays Marty McFly. Christopher Lloyd plays Doc Brown. And the plot of the film is Michael J. Fox, who lives next door with his family, to Doc Brown, who plays a crazy scientist. Doc Brown invites Michael J. Fox to see an experiment that he's going to do. Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, doesn't know what the experiment is at the time. He's asking Michael J. Fox to film this experiment. And the experiment goes awry. And Michael J. Fox ends up sitting in the experiment, which is the DeLorean.
Yeah, the DeLoreans, man.
He gets transported back in time. And he ends up having to make sure that his mother and father, who are now teenagers back in time, end up together. And because if they don't,
he won't be born.
He won't be born. But he also has to be very careful because he doesn't want to change the future, because if he changes the future, the future that he goes back to may not be the same. So
the doc says don't do anything, don't talk to nobody, and he ends up interacting with all kinds of people. But I thought it was awesome. Yep. The DeLoreans. Okay, I saw one. I think before I saw the movie. This was in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and I thought the car wasn't finished because it was all metal. But I didn't know it was supposed to be like that.
I think the DeLorean originally, when it came out, I believe it had a 4-cylinder engine, and it was way underpowered, and it was a heavy car because of all the stainless steel. So the fact that they used that car, it's an awesome looking car, but the fact that they used that car as a high performance car was kind of strange. One of the little known facts about this film was Michael J. Fox was originally not cast to play Marty McFly. Eric Stoltz was. Now, you may recall Eric Stoltz was in the movie Some Kind of Wonderful, the redheaded kid. But when they started filming the film, Robert Zemeckis decided, I guess it was Robert Zemeckis, the director, decided that the dailies, the film that they were shooting wasn't turning out the way he had hoped that it would. So they added $3 to $4 million to the budget, reshot those scenes, and brought in Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
And it's an American classic. I mean, it is a wild ride from start to finish.
Was it, 1985?
1985.
Yeah.
And I mean, I vividly, before we watched this film again, remembered the scene where Michael J. Fox is running from the bad kids, and he grabs this little kid's scooter and breaks the handlebars off the scooter and rides his scooter like a skateboard, and all these little kids are just amazed that he can ride this scooter the way he was doing it, you know. Wonderful film, great music in it, good tempo, fantastic. I would give this film 0 to 100.
Guys,
I'd give it a 95.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's good. I give it a 97. I want to keep this movie forever. I want to watch it again, and again. I mean, do DVDs wear out? They get scratched. So if I can catch it on TV, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. I really Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, in the Target parking lot stuff, the clock tower stuff, and we went and saw the real clock tower and Universal and all that, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
And then think, like you said about the scooter, and then that invented skateboards, in the future, but I think Michael J. Fox, what a tremendous actor. Parkinson's, he announced he had Parkinson's in 91, but he was still working on stuff too, and I mean, he worked through a lot of stuff with his disease, and he kind of stopped working in just a couple of years ago, 2020.
Yeah.
And what an amazing guy. I mean, this really kicked him off, but I mean, he did good.
Yeah.
He did good.
Yeah. Well, even Christopher Lloyd. I used to love the TV show Taxi, and he was fantastic on that show. But when I think of Christopher Lloyd today, I think of Doc Brown.
Doc Brown.
Yeah.
So. He's like a Kramer.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Kramer. He's so unique and so funny, and it was good.
Yep.
You guys. All right.
And if you have not gone back and watched Back to the Future, give it a try again. I guarantee you'll love it just like you did the first time you watched it, and you'll pick up on a lot of things that you didn't remember from the film.
Right.
So. Right.
Little things that will come, that did actually happen in the future. in the movie. It's
I
awesome.
wonder what the percentage of DeLoreans that exist today have been converted to the time machine, because it seems like every time we see one, it's been converted to a time machine.
Yeah. In Vegas, we saw one that's kind of cheesy. We saw 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, we've seen more than that, yeah.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, like 4.
That's just in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
it's so funny.
But anyhow, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Flicks with the Hicks. And until next time, go out and enjoy a good film. Take it easy. Bye-bye.